My question is for Mr. Strelchik of the NDP. The NDP have stated that, if elected, they will introduce a Poverty Elimination Act to eliminate poverty in Canada by the year 2020. Many politicians have promised to impose similar plans in the past. How do you plan on achieving this goal, and how can we be certain that you will indeed accomplish this goal?
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. Firstly, the NDP is going to do, we're going to use our power in Parliament as the opposition to put forward our policies. In the Liberal government, before this Conservative government, we managed to obtain $4.6 billion for a lot of these health and social proposals that we are putting forward. And we've been working to achieve such results in Parliament. Of course, Mr. Harper is not wanting to work with the NDP, and he seems to want to go his own way. Well, it seems this election, things will be different. The NDP will have its say. We're going to put things forward. Now, I tell you what do we want to deal with poverty? We want to raise minimum wage to $10 an hour. We want to make medications free for all citizens. We want to make home care accessible, meaning if you're old or sick and you need to be taken care of, right now you have to spend thousands of dollars and families are going to debt. We're saying the government ought to take care of this and pay for this. And finally, we want to offer child care for families, for all families, national, affordable, accessible, licensed child care, quality care across the whole country for those who need it. Right now, people are spending so much money. They're trying to get out of the rut of poverty and working, but they're working and they're paying for the same bills into their daycare, into their child care. You know, it's time we empower the regular person and save them money, and that's the NDP's proposal.
Ms. Kadis, would you like to reply?
You know, Prime Minister Harper has refused to participate in the Make Poverty Histories online as questionnaire. The only leader party that has refused to do so. I think it's unconscionable. Not only here has the Conservative abandoned the issue of poverty, but also abroad, where they have turned their backs on Africa, where we were leaders in terms of our supports for those who are suffering, not only here, but across the world. Of course, so many factors influence of poverty. One of the first things that the Conservative government did was to rip up the early learning child care agreements called the province and most of the province and territories, which was going to give our children a better start in life, all our children. And we know that this is something that's extremely important in all our interests. And we are committed to our 30-50 plan. Within 5 years, 30% of adults will not be living under the poverty line, and 50% of our children will not be living under the poverty line. And we need to do even better than that. And we have a very strong commitment to reducing poverty in Canada and around the world.
Well, 30 seconds is a very brief time to address this. To address Susan's point, the Liberals' child care program, which they talked about for 13 years and never introduced, is actually based on the belief that it takes a bureaucracy to raise a child. The Harper government has given, and we have been told by Canadians that it is appreciated, $1,200 a year child benefit. We've reduced the taxes of the families. Families are paying more than $3,000 in taxes less, and they appreciate that. And to Simon's point on the raising the minimum wage, we believe it's much more effective to do, as we have done, to raise the entry point at which the working poor actually have to pay taxes. We've taken tens of thousands of working poor completely off the tax rolls in 2.5 years of Harper government. With regard to those folks at the other end of the spectrum, income splitting and support for seniors has also, we've been told by them, registered well and is working for them. More to come.
Believe me, I've benefited hugely from that $100 a month child care program, having 5 kids, but it's not a good program. It's not something that will provide long-term places for working families where both parents are working. They need to have a good system in place so that they can go and work and earn money to raise their families. One of the things that we're talking about is no taxes on income under $20,000. So there's a lot of people in that range. Why should anyone earning $20,000 or less be paying any taxes at all? It makes no sense. The other thing is about having reduced the GST down to 5% is not an effective program. We've squandered away a large chunk of a $12 billion surplus that the Conservatives inherited from the Liberals and had as recent as a year and a half ago. That will reduce our flexibility now when times are tough with the economy going down. We need to have that money to invest in new programs and stimulate the economy. Thank you.
I can't believe this. I mean, people here, they work so hard, and yet they make so little money. It's time we have a federal minimum wage that's $10 an hour now. I'm putting forward this issue here to this government, that for too long, young people have been working so many hours and not getting enough pay. Well, I'll tell you something. We need to pay for things. We need to pay for education and far other important things. Minimum wage is kept so low, and it's unfair. It's time we make a real difference here. And we have the other parties saying no to raising the minimum wage. We have other parties saying no to home care, to child care, and to poverty alleviation. And it's time for action now.